If you want to study and work in German, you most likely have to learn German, and that means enrolling into language school. You have most likely heard of the Goethe Institute and the famous Goethe exam. What about other German teaching institutions? Are they as good? Are their exams recognized here in Germany? So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about German language schools. Let's make sure you pick the right one for you. Hi guys, my name is Melk. I am a medical doctor. I live here in Germany and I moved here from Uganda about 2 years ago. So why does the right language school matter? Of course it does matter, because when you go to the right language school, you'll get the right certificate or the right exam, and these exams and certificates are important, first of all, for the visa application process, but also for university admission and for work, whether it is normal work or specialized work, like for example in my case as a doctor, or for other circumstances like a nurse. So it matters. Now before I talk about the Goethe exam, there are actually, by the way, some exams which are recognized in German and could even be better in some circumstances. So let's first talk about that before we talk about the Goethe institution and the Goethe exam. Now of course, if you are already in German, being a land of native speakers, there are quite numerous numbers of language schools around, and so let's look at some of the popular ones that are available. But I want you to note that as long as you are in German, your language school doesn't have to appear on this list, because like I said, it's a land of native speakers with lots of possibilities. Here are the 5 popular top language schools in Germany. In number 5 are the Volkshochschule. These are famous all over German and they are really cheap. Actually, almost every city in German has a Volkshochschule. The advantage about this is that they are really cheap. The disadvantage is they are very slow. When I came to German, I found some people attending Volkshochschule, and because it was very slow, they were really progressing very slowly. But since I had a goal, I enrolled to another language school, and because of the intensive classes that I did, I bypassed quite a number of the colleagues who were doing simple Volkshochschule. So if you have time and you're just relaxing and learning German and there's no time pressure, you can go for the Volkshochschule. So in number 4, we have InLingua. These are also found in major cities around the country, from Berlin to Hamburg to Bonn to München. They're all over the place. These are quite actually good for tech-enhanced techniques of learning the language and immersion experiences. They have a reputable global language school brand. The downside is they might be quite costly compared to Volkshochschule. Now in number 3, we have what we call the Sprachaktiv. These are good for those who want an all-in-one solution for the language and relocation solutions, specifically with accommodation, and they also help with the job searching. So if you are somebody who really wants assistance in this area, then the Sprachaktiv would be a good option for you. In number 2, we have Speak Easy. Now these ones here, they offer lots of interactive learning, including conversational focused learning, small classes. They also usually have a vibrant community with a number of activities going on. So they are good for those who prefer modern and student-centered learning, with lots of extra support also available. They're also pretty pricey. They are quite on the high end of the price or the budget. Now in number 1, of course, comes the Deutsche Academia. Deutsche Academia, of course, they have consistently high Google ratings of the German language in their instruction. So they are good for those who want consistency and, consistency in the quality of the education they're receiving, plus the flexibility. If you're somebody who wants a bit of flexibility, these are the best for you. Plus also, of course, they are found in most cities around Germany. So if you're somebody who is considering switching from one city to another, you can always connect to these very schools and you'll find a Deutsche Academia somewhere in another city. Now, like I said, if you are already in German, it doesn't matter, because like I said, it's a land of native speakers, also known as Muttersprachland. It doesn't matter. For example, personally, I didn't go to any of these 5 schools that I've mentioned above. I went to a school called IFS Bonn because I'm living in Bonn, and my certificate which I received from this very institution was also recognized by the district administration in Munster, the Bezirksregierung, that is responsible for the recognition of the foreign doctors who want to practice their medicine in German. Now before I talk about the Goethe Institute, I thought I should just talk about the exams, because there are some specific exams that you might need to take in case you are to get into special programs, like if you've been admitted at university, or if you are on some special profession like a medical doctor which needs special recognition. Now we have the Test DAF, or that Test Deutsch als fremde Sprache. It's not focused on conversational Germany and all those kinds of things. No, it is an exam which is specifically tailored to students who are going to go to university and study in German. It is more of academic in nature. It's not all-round German that could be necessary for, day-to-day life in Germany. In second place is the Goethe exam. The Goethe exam is a very famous exam in German, and it is actually recognized by all the companies in Germany. So as long as you have a Goethe certificate exam, you are really good to go. It's in second place simply because of its pricing, but it's actually very good. But in number one position, if you are planning to come and work as a doctor here, you can also do the Telk exam. Telk is very famous. Now, I could say that actually Telk ties with Goethe in a way, but what's advantageous about Telk is that they have their own C1 special course that is also responsible for training medical doctors. So if you are a medical doctor starting from scratch and you live in German, I'll just advise that you do Telk from A1 until C1, because their exam is actually recognized in some of the states as a valid FSP exam. Now let's talk about Goethe Institute itself. Goethe Institute is Germany's official cultural institute with branches in over 90 countries. They are directly funded and supported by the German government, and their responsibility is to prepare people who are going to come to German. They are mandated with not only teaching the language but also preparing learners for their first life of experience in German, so that once you come in German, the culture shocks are not as many as possible. So they are basically teaching the language, but they are putting everything into context for you so that you can have a smooth landing, if I can put it like that, once you come in German. In case you are not in German, I really recommend that this is the only language school you go to. If you are looking for a holistic preparation of your first days in German, the Goethe Institute is for you. The advantage is that their certificates are recognized by all organizations in German, and that means that once you land in German, you will not need to do another exam or another test or whatever. Now, the downside to this is that, of course, the Goethe Institute is actually pretty pricey around the world. Downside number two is that they're quite inflexible. They have scheduled exams, and if you're someone who is looking towards multitasking between your current job and learning the German language, it might be pretty inconveniencing for you because they're quite rigid in their arrangements. Of course, by the time I left Uganda, because of the advent of COVID, many of them have gone to embrace things like Zoom. Other than that, they are quite inflexible, and they could be problematic for you in case you're somebody who has a full-time job. Now, the conclusion is that if you haven't yet arrived in German, please go to Goethe Institute. If you are in German, attaining good quality German language instruction is almost a guarantee. You have to consider your individual situation and see which one actually works for you. Now, if you found this video valuable, you might also find this other one valuable for you, because in this other one I talk about how to learn German on your own. And please like the video. If you like the video, it's kind of pushed further and many people will benefit from it. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, and until the next one, bye and peace.